Well, come on in the room. You've just stepped into a space where healing meets truth, wisdom meets experience, and soul care is always on the agenda. Hello, I'm Dr. Anntoinettemarie Williams, transformation speaker, author, and your guide on this journey to wholeness and well being. Each week, we'll pull up a chair, pour into one another, and unpack real life conversations about healing, growth, relationships, faith, and family, and the beauty of becoming. This isn't just a podcast, it's a sanctuary. So take a breath, relax your shoulders, and come on in the room with Dr. Anntoinettemarie Williams.
Well, hello to everyone. This is such a beautiful day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to the first episode of Come On in the Room with Dr. Anntoinettemarie, where healing will always meet truth and the truth will always lead us to transformation. So I just want to say and ask, how are y'all doing? I am back and doing some incredible things. Before we get started, I want to do the shout outs to my team. I have such a great team that I am very proud of, and they know I use the word fantastic, and so they are fantastic. Um, I don't have to name names, you know who you are, but I will say shout out to my BBEE, you know who you are, and my husband Wesley. So thank you so much. So I want to say to you that wherever you are in your life right now, it is what you have curated, or you'll hear people say created. And so, a little bit about this podcast. This is a podcast that really will help you transform your own life from the inside out. And there's some work that we all will have to do. So I'm really glad that you are here. Invite your friends, let them know, come on in the room. It's on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. I had a couple of people to ask me some questions about that. Dr. Marie, are you going to be on live every Saturday? I don't know. We're going to go with the flow. Listen, it's Saturday. People want to be outside and enjoying their life. And that includes me as well. But I will say that I am committed to having this podcast and committed to see you grow in the aspects of abundance and wealth. And wealth is not just money, wealth is what you know that is valuable to you. So I hope that answered your question, anonymous, anonymous individual. I hope that answered your question. So let's get right into it. I can tell you in this space is meant to encapsulate you for this next 40 minutes. Everything that is speaking about healing, things that are speaking about decluttering. And that's actually what we're going to be speaking about today. So, whether you're tuning in from your kitchen, your car, or your favorite cozy spot, this is a conversation for you, and you don't want to miss today. This is the launching pad of Come On in the Room. And so it's not just about you and your four, it is about your children, your legacy. So in this space, it's not just about all of that pile of mail that you keep putting in on the background, or you're letting it sit on your countertop, but your soul space. I like to call it your soul space, your heart, your mind, and your energy. And so, as we get into this particular space, I want you to know that you have an ally. You have an ally that, hey, Michelle Hardy, you have an ally here in wanting to see you grow, wanting to see you do really great things. That is the objective. So, let's breathe together before we go in. So let's do a really good deep inhale. I'll do it with you. And exhale. So now we are going to just talk. We're going to just chat. So tell me a little bit about what is clutter? Really, what is clutter? You hear that word a lot. And I think that we don't look at it deeper. We don't think about what's cluttering us. And I like to say clutter is sneaky. It's not just that stuff on your floor or a junk drawer. How many of y'all have a junk drawer? Well, I used to have a junk drawer. I don't have a junk drawer anymore. But clutter is anything that takes up your space in your life, but doesn't serve you in any way. It doesn't allow for you to grow. It doesn't contribute to your peace. Neither does it contribute at all to your purpose. That is what clutter is. So, clutter can look like a friendship that you've outgrown. Come on in the room. Clutter could look like that job that pays you so well, but it drains every aspect of you. Clutter could also look like a negative self talk that we sometimes do, and now we've considered it as normal. And finally, clutter could look like the role that you still play and you didn't even audition for. You don't even know how you got here. You didn't even read the script. So clutter is not just something that's physical. Clutter is emotional, clutter is spiritual and psychological. And the truth is that we carry it because we've been taught to hold on, not to let it go, put it on the side. I used to say something back in the day that I would have funds or money for hard days. And I didn't know, but I was calling for the hard days. But we have to remember that holding on will always cost you. It costs you clarity, it costs you time, it costs you rest, and it also costs you joy. So, the first step it's what I like to call be honest. Don't dress it up. Don't make excuses for it. You have to name a thing. So let's talk about this. Being honest with yourself. It's nothing like lying to other people, but lying to yourself, that doesn't lead us down anything that's positive. So the next part might be a little bit uncomfortable for all of us because decluttering requires for us to be honest and not the kind you post about. You see people posting a lot about, oh, I went in my closet and I gave away 15 shirts and 10 pairs of shoes to the Goodwill. This is not that kind of talking. I'm talking about the kind that whispers to you at 2 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep. So I want you to ask yourself, what am I carrying that doesn't belong to me? Okay. What are you carrying that doesn't belong to you? You didn't ask for it. You didn't audition for it. You didn't write a letter for it. And then ask yourself, what am I tolerating because I am afraid of being alone? Yeah, that part. We got to talk about that. What am I tolerating because I have just decided now because I'm 40 or I'm 35 that I don't want to be alone any longer? And let's look at why am I pretending not to know? That's a crucial one where we pretend that the clutter is not there. So, yeah, I know that one stings a little bit. What am I pretending not to know? So, let me tell you something, beloved, that pretending will always delay your healing. Come on in the room. You don't need permission to live free, you just need alignment. And alignment starts with truth. Now, as we go into this podcast, and 2 weeks from now, you're going to hear me say a lot of things about alignment. Alignment is when you know that your purpose for what you're doing, your purpose for being here on this earth makes sense, not just to external forces, but also to yourself. So let's pause a little bit right here. So if you have not, I hope you have a notebook if you can. And I want you to write 3 things in your life that feel really heavy, but they also might feel familiar. That might just be your clue. These are things in your life that may feel very heavy, but they also feel familiar. I love what Michelle is saying. She said, let's be conscious of our behavior and what we need for growth. Absolutely. So let's think a little bit about letting go. And many times we think that letting go means that we're losing. Letting go doesn't mean that you're losing. Think about it this way. Okay, let's shift a little bit. So, quite often we look at letting go as losing something. But let me tell you something, release is not loss, it actually is liberating. Oh, come on in the room. My grandmother used to say that. Come on in the room. Releasing is not necessarily that you're losing something. I used to hear my grandmother say that. Baby, sometimes you have your fist balled up so tight that God can't get something that really belongs to you. Sometimes you got to release something that you know is no longer serving you. I call that liberation. When you remove what doesn't serve you, you make space for what actually does serve you. It's almost like going into a restaurant and you are waiting there and the wait staff sees you, but never even say hello. But you stay because somebody told you it was a great restaurant. And yet you stay, though the service is not good. It is not serving you, and they literally are not serving you. But we stay. Sometimes I see that with individuals that I counsel, even concerning stagnated types of relationships. If it's stagnated, it's not moving, it's not growing. In order to grow, you got to break out. So sometimes, many times, often so, you got to release that stuff. Sometimes that old and outdated version of yourself is always trying to keep you doing what you have already done. Sometimes, sugars, you got to let that rest. You have to evolve, is something that my sister says. So I want to say this to you, that letting go doesn't mean that you are weak. Come on in the room. Letting go does not mean that you are weak. Letting go is not a weakness, it's actually wisdom. It's you saying, I deserve more than this chaos. I deserve joy, not confusion, not this one sided connection. There's nothing worse than a one sided connection. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody invited you to something and then you can no longer find them? You don't even know where they are anymore. So it's you saying your peace. You're searching for your peace. And I want to say to you, beloved, that peace is your birthright. And for you to say to yourself, you got to speak to yourself and say, I will no longer negotiate my peace. We can say it together. 1, 2, 3. I will no longer negotiate my peace. Doesn't matter what it is for, doesn't matter who it is for. Don't negotiate your peace. The other thing I want us to say is that I do not fear the emptiness. I trust what is coming next. And I know that that's a hard, sometimes, and a difficult statement. But you have to trust what's coming next. And when you're saying this throughout this upcoming week, say it again until you feel it in your bones, until you believe it. Because if you don't believe it, beloved, we can't ask other people to believe something that we don't even believe. So think about this. What do we do? How do we move forward towards peace? Now, let's talk a little bit about moving forward. Let's talk about decluttering. But I want you to also know this, that decluttering is not just about getting rid of things. Decluttering is about walking towards what brings you life. I'm going to say that again. Put that in the chat. Decluttering is not just about what you're getting rid of. Decluttering is about walking forward towards what brings you life. If you know that you don't like collard greens, why do we keep still trying to force feed ourselves collard greens when we get into spaces of southern comfort? You don't have to do that. It's okay to say, well, you know what, I really don't like greens. I really don't like collard greens. But I do like Brussels sprouts. That's okay. So I want to talk to you about a few ways to move towards your own personal peace. So you hear people talking about setting boundaries. Sometimes we set boundaries and we don't keep them. So how can we believe that other people will keep those boundaries that we set and we're not keeping them for ourselves? See, I told you when I got started here and doing this podcast, I want to be real with you. There's so many things that we see on social media, and many of them are prioritized with a lot of hashtags. This is what, 15 ways, 15 steps to listen. In this podcast with Dr. Anntoinettemarie, we are going to set realistic boundaries and we're going to keep them. So that's one way to move forward in your peace. A second way is prioritizing stillness. If you could put that in the chat, Michelle, prioritize stillness. I like to say to schedule stillness. Times where you do nothing. And I know people will say to you that you're not doing anything. That's a waste of time. But I'm here to tell you that when you prioritize stillness and schedule it like a meeting, your spirit and your soul will thank you. There's some team members that I'm currently working with, and I've told them to schedule in something in Microsoft. If you get a chance, you'll be able to see it. It's called Focus. You can actually schedule focus time in your calendar on Microsoft. I think they knew something. Number 3, unplug from things and people that drain your spirit. This is a big one. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time on that. Unplug from things and people that drain you. I remember walking into a room, and I can't recall if it was a conference or not, but I remember being in that conference, and when I walked in there, my entire being felt like somebody was just like pulling me down. And yes, we can always go to and say, wow, what's going on with that? That didn't feel right. Sometimes that's people that are just draining your spirit. Every time you call, every time they call, they got something negative to say. Every time they walk into a room, there's something negative to say. You don't have nothing positive to say. If you have people, individuals, humans that are like that, you might want to think about what we talked about earlier about unplugging from those people. Just saying, you know what? I know that you might need somebody to talk to, but it's not me today. How can maybe I can refer you to somebody else or something else or a certain app, right? My next one is I want you to really concentrate on speaking kind to yourself. Now, this one in a lot of cultures is sometimes difficult. This was an area where I struggled with when it came to setting a goal and I didn't meet the goal. And I kept saying to myself, darn, I should have did it this way and I would have reached the goal. Man, I can't believe I didn't do that. And what's so interesting is that me meeting that goal did not 100%. I wasn't the only person that was involved in meeting the goal. So sometimes we are kind to others. Come on, in this room today. Sometimes we are more kind to others than we are to ourselves, especially when something goes wrong, especially when people say, when we mess up. We are more kind to other people than we are to ourselves. So I want us to think about reframing from that. I want us to think about changing that in our own selves. Because what you really are saying is that somebody else is worth more to you and for you because you give them grace and you don't give yourself grace. So, again, unplug from things and people that drain your spirit. Speak kind to yourself, especially when it feels like you have messed up, as people say. Speak kind to yourself and let peace be your compass, not your reward. We're not talking about rewards. We're not talking about, how do I get to the next level? I get it. I get it. We're all doing really great things. We are all doing things that we believe that are going to help us get to the next level. However, let peace be your compass. Maybe your next level, your right now level should be peace, and not let peace be your reward. You don't have to earn rest. Yes, I said it. You do not have to earn resting. You don't have to hustle for worthiness. You don't have to hustle for worthiness. You don't have to earn rest. You are a child of the Most High. Rest belongs to you. And I know now there's so many things that are happening and, we grinding, which is a word I don't use. But for right now, you hear people say, oh, I'm a hustler. Mm. Sometimes we are hustling for worthiness. We are hustling for accolades. We are hustling for titles. We are hustling for money. There's songs that talks about all I do is no, we're not hustling for worthiness. You just have to decide you're ready. That's it. You have to just decide that I'm ready and I am not perfect, but that you are ready to change, to declutter your life. You just have to say that part. You just have to know that there's work that you have to do. And you have to say, I'm ready and I'm willing to do that work. So let me tell you something from my heart to yours is that you deserve joy that doesn't ask you to shrink. Oh my God. I'm just going to take a moment just on that part. You deserve joy that doesn't ask you to shrink who you are as a man, shrink who you are as a woman, shrinking who you are as a mom, as a dad, as a grandfather, a grandmother, a colleague, an associate. You deserve joy that comes to you that is not saying, I will love you if you come down here. We are not shrinking. God did not design us to shrink. So that's one. Number two, you deserve relationships that feel safe. Not only feeling safe, but you deserve relationships that reciprocate. You deserve relationships that reciprocate who you are, what you're giving. Sometimes when we look at relationships, you hear people say, well, if I'm good at this and they're good at that, then this is going to be a great relationship. It potentially is a good relationship. But let me say something to you. With everything that you bring to a table, and at that table, let's say you're having a party. I love a good party. Let's say you're having a party and everybody was told to bring something. And everybody comes and they bring something. And yet you got two couples that come to the party and bring nothing. And they do it intentional because they have not decided or no one told them not to. So I say that to you because relationships should reciprocate. I'm not going to be in a relationship, any kind, corporate relationship, personal relationship, and you're not getting something back. Why? We don't have to stay in those types of relationships. That's why I said earlier, if something is not serving you, why do we stay? Why do we stay in relationships where people have already told you in one way or another, I don't like you? Now, they could say, I love you, 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 I love you. But love is not what you say. It's not just what you say. Love is what you demonstrate. You can tell me you love me 125 times a day. However, if you are not demonstrating that, then many times what is coming out of your mouth are just words. So, my next tool or skill for you is I want you to know that you deserve a life that honors your truth. You deserve a life that honors who you are as a human being and not just the title that you bring to a relationship. I recall where I was doing some work for an organization and things got a little bit suspect, as people might say. Things were getting a little suspect. I was like, something is up over here. I'm not sure what's up, but something's going on. And you've ever had times where you feel it in your, as I said earlier, you feel it in your bones, like, why am I here? Sometimes people want you around just for your title. Mhm. Sometimes people want you around just because you have an undergraduate degree, or because you have a master's degree, or because you are a journeyman something, or because you're a military veteran, or sometimes people just want to be around you because you are an author, Michelle, or you're something else. But let me be very clear. You deserve a life that honors just because you are a human. You deserve a life that honors your truth. So when you think about going into relationships with people, organizations, businesses, whatever that is, and whatever that looks like, you want to be thinking about who you are as Michelle, who you are as Tim, who you are as Camille, who you are as Antoinette Marie. You notice I didn't say Dr. Antoinette Marie because I am still who I am without a PhD. You are still who you are, a reflection of who God is without any title needed. So as we begin to really look at who you are and whose you are and what you deserve to wake up and feel peace and not panic. Oh, mm, mm, mm. So I want you to say this with me. I deserve to wake up and feel peaceful and not panic. I know that is a good word for somebody's, and they may not even be on this podcast, may not even be watching right now. But that word right there is so deserving of your and our attention that you deserve to wake up and feel peaceful and not panicked every single morning. Some people can't even go to sleep at night because they're thinking about the next day. I was one of those people years ago, probably about a decade ago. One of those people. I dreaded Saturdays because I knew Sunday was going to be preparing my brain for Monday. What kind of life is that? I also want to make it very clear that none of this happens. You won't get the peace. You won't, have the reciprocation that you really do deserve. But none of this happens until you clear the way. Remember, we're talking about decluttering. Until you clear the way. So I am here to help you transform your life from the inside out. Many times people will help you put on the best suit or the best dress and the best blouse and the best pair of slacks. And on the inside, you feel like crap. Not here, not on this podcast. So as I get ready to end, I want you to think about this. You deserve to wake up and feel peaceful. How do I go about doing that? You have to clear the way. Not Dr. Antoinette Marie. I cannot clear your way. You have to clear your way. And it starts today. It starts today with one small step of you saying, "This no longer serves me, and I am clearing the way for everything that's good, everything that is of wealth, everything that is of abundance to come to me." And you just can't say it. You got to what? Demonstrate it, right? And so I want you to continue to remember that with one small step. So let's do some tangible things. Clean that drawer out. If you have a junk drawer, clean it out. It starts sometimes with those physical things that you can see that will then take you, elevate you, will poke you to say, if I can do it here, I can then do it on the inside. It's going to take some time for some people. Clean out that junk drawer, right? Make the phone call. That relationship is not even serving you anymore. They don't even call you, but when they want something from you, make the phone call. I want you to break these dense, non serving cycles. And I know some of you may be saying, well, what is such and such going to say? Does it matter? I'm glad your drawer is organized, Michelle. So now that you've cleaned that drawer out, the next thing might be make a phone call. So for some of us, we can make the phone call, but we can't clean the drawer out. This is not a one size fits all situation. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry tears when you are transitioning from something that wasn't good for you. And here's the other thing, it may have been good 2 years ago, but it's no longer good now. You know that, watch this, you know that a year ago you were a size 16. And now you know that you are a size 12, but you're still putting on size 16 clothes. I know y'all thought I was going to go the other way, but I didn't. Yeah, I went the other way. You want to be conscious of what is no longer serving you. Here's the other thing. Here's some of the homework. I want you to get a journal. Get a journal. Write in your journal every single day. More than once a day. I write or scribe so much that my handsome husband said to me, and I'll have stickies on my mirror. I took those off. I graduated. And I started having them in my closet area. And my husband said to me, I got something for you. And this is not for everybody, but he bought me a tablet, right? And in this tablet, I can write, I can draw, I can scribe, but it's a journal. Journal 2 times a day. Maybe in the morning, maybe at night, maybe midday, maybe at night. Release that weight. Release it. What sense if you think about someone that is a weightlifter and they are picking up 350 pounds? Think about what they do. They have it in their hand and they're up. It gets heavy after a certain amount of time. Heavy. He's not and she's not standing up there for, they're barely up there holding it for 5 seconds. but they know when to release it. Because if we don't release that weight, we will hurt ourselves. We will strain the muscle. But when we're trying to hold it for so long because of the possibility of someone else saying, you look different. I don't know what's going on with him. Release the weight. Release the weight. It no longer serves you. Because, listen to this, the lighter you become, and this is just things that I truly believe after being on this earth for over 50 years, the lighter you become, the higher you rise. The lighter you become, the higher you rise. I love that Michelle is saying that post-its are clutter. So I use Google Docs to track things and remind myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're now here, we're rising above that. So, and my closing reflections on today, I want to say this to you is that, beloved, decluttering is sacred work. It takes time, but it doesn't take forever. Decluttering allows for you and gives you the permission to be who you are. Decluttering is something where you have to put forth effort in doing. It's not about perfection, it's about permission. It's not about looking and saying, I'm better than someone else, but it is about permission. And that permission comes with saying, this is the version of me that I really like. This version of me is done, and I am making room for who I am becoming. I work with individuals and they're over 50, and they have said to me, I don't know who I am. So today, as we're looking at decluttering and releasing, I want you to think about this. So if no one told you today, I want to say to you that you are enough. I want to say to you that you are not behind. You didn't miss it. I want to say to you as well that you are right on time. This is the day. And in that, this week, I want you to pick one thing, just one thing, not 5, just one thing that you will release. Put it in the chat. What's going to be one thing that you will commit yourself to releasing, physically, emotionally, or spiritually? Tag me on it and on social media at drAnntoinettemarie.com. One thing that you have decided that you're going to release. And tell me what you're going to let go and maybe how it's going to affect you. Because I want to help cheer you on. I want to help you succeed. I want to help you declutter. And I want you to remember, peace isn't something that you find. It's something that you choose. It's something that you choose. And until next time, well, and well-being isn't a destination. It is a decision. It's your decision. I love you. And be well, be safe, and be free. This is Dr. Anntoinettemarie Williams. I'll see you next time.
Well, come on in the room. You've just stepped into a space where healing meets truth, wisdom meets experience, and soul care is always on the agenda. Hello, I'm Dr. Anntoinettemarie Williams, transformation speaker, author, and your guide on this journey to wholeness and well-being. Each week, we'll pull up a chair, pour into one another, and unpack real-life live conversations about healing, growth, relationships,